welcome everyone to the 74th National Book Awards. Yes. Before we get going, are there any moms for liberty in the house? Moms for liberty? No? Good. Then hands will not need to be thrown tonight.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So again, we have to talk about the violent rhetoric of basically the entire modern left, right? They condone it, they spread it, they even applaud it. And what I just showed you is LeVar Burton. And some of you guys probably remember him from when we were kids. He was the guy on Reading Rainbow on PBS, which anytime I hear the words Reading Rainbow, I still can't get that song out of my head. Well, apparently the guy's still around, and he thought it would be funny to make a joke about violence and targeting of Moms for Liberty, which if you guys aren't familiar with them, all they are is a group of moms, conservative moms, who are literally fighting to keep adult content and pornography out of your kid's school. So how evil and how despicable must they possibly be, right? So anyway, and he's talking about throwing hands. If you guys don't know what that means, that's basically to fight, to beat, to attack. And guys, just imagine for a moment, you know, so these guys, they claim that it's some sort of joke. It's all in good fun. They think it's funny. But just imagine, just for one moment, if some group on the right had made a joke about physically assaulting someone that they didn't politically agree with. And honestly, I don't know how this is even a political thing. How did we get to a time where in the year 2023, pornography in schools is a political issue? I mean, come on. It was not long ago that was just a right or wrong issue, not a left or right issue, you know. But can you imagine if the roles were reversed here? Staying on topic. Can you imagine if they were reversed? There would be who knows how many articles, and every left-wing crackpot on TV would be pounding the same old drum that this violent rhetoric was dividing and endangering the country. But when these things are said about conservative moms, well, then it's just fun. It's just games, and it's laughter that the entire crowd just, you know, the laughter of this entire crowd really does tell you everything you need to know. They think that beating a conservative woman is funny, and they are on the side against people trying to keep pornography out of schools. Every single person who laughed at that joke is perfectly okay and perfectly supportive of pornography in schools. The argument is that simple, and it's amazing. You know, you cannot make this stuff up. And if any of us need any proof of the double standard that really does exist when it comes to quote unquote violent rhetoric, look no further than the forever tone deaf and hypocritical Jen Psaki, who she's basically dedicated her entire show and her entire platform, her entire life, to what she claims is the violent rhetoric of the right. Donald Trump, of course, in particular. Well, one of you guys brought to my attention yesterday in the comments that Dan Goldman goes on her show just moments after she was complaining and sounding the alarm about Trump's violent rhetoric. And he advocates for Donald Trump to be literally deleted. And she sits silent and supportive. And you guys have to see this. But before I show it, guys, thank you so much to everyone that's been subscribing, everyone leaving such great comments. Really, really do appreciate the support. If you haven't already, help us to continue to grow and get our message out there. Like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel.
He will push the envelope as far as he is allowed to go, and often even farther. And as we watch our courts struggle to contain him, and they're having a hard time, it is becoming increasingly clear that his party, the Republican Party, might be the only institution that can actually hold him accountable. But so far, they're refusing to step up. They've tolerated Trump echoing the language of genocidal dictators, routinely dehumanizing his political opponents, speaking not just of beating his enemies at the ballot box, but extinguishing them altogether. They've tolerated the dark vision for America that Trump is plotting for a second term, complete with sweeping raids, sprawling detention camps, and mass deportation for immigrants, with a reinstated Muslim ban and a push to unleash troops on protesters. Just last night, Trump wrote on Truth Social that 2024 is our final battle. We will finish the job once and for all. See, he's casting this not as an election, but as a battle. Every Republican who doesn't speak out against that kind of thing is complicit. But we're also at a point where the party isn't just tolerating Donald Trump, they are following his lead in word and also in action. Maybe that has something to do with his view of what the MAGA base wants, a base many Republicans are scared of losing or even just scared of in general. His violent rhetoric has trickled down to Congress, where literal fighting erupted this week. I mean, if the head of the party is spouting violent rhetoric any chance he gets, I guess it's not really surprising that brawls are on the verge of breaking out in the halls of Capitol. I mean, it has kind of a connection there.
A few moments later.
But his rhetoric is really getting dangerous, more and more dangerous. And we saw what happened on January 6th when he uses inflammatory rhetoric now, and his recent Truth Social post is incredibly, incredibly scary for anyone that might be trying to work in government. And it is just unquestionable at this point that that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
There are several hearings going on right now and back and forth over gag orders in various cases. None of it seems to be working. What do you think? What are the consequences that might work and having Trump dial back his language, or would anything work?
So guys, I mean, what do you even say to that? I mean, look at her face as he says it. Stone cold silence, no reaction, no pushback, nothing. And guys, can you imagine how dim the people sitting at home subjecting themselves to this stuff must be? They just watch this woman rant and rave about violent rhetoric and then watch her sit in total silent agreement while a sitting congressman and infamous Biden protector calls for the elimination of his political adversaries. It's insane. I mean, you cannot make that stuff up. And people at home, you know, they probably didn't even notice. Now, obviously, Trump saying this is our final battle, or Dan Goldman saying that Trump needs to be eliminated, these are just figures of speech. Any reasonable person can recognize this. They are obviously both just talking figuratively about the election. Anyone reasonable will understand this. But that said, it's completely unreasonable and totally disingenuous to hold them to two entirely different standards. And if you're a leftist who's watching this thinking that I'm making too much out of too little, just go through your own little thought experiment. Imagine Donald Trump saying that Joe Biden, or any Democrat for that matter, needs to be eliminated. Just imagine that the reaction from the left would be like nothing we've ever seen. Now, imagine him saying it on a show about violent rhetoric. As the host says nothing about it. Anyway, that little snapshot moment right there really does tell, I think, tells us everything that we need to know about the motivations and, even more importantly, the credibility of much, if not all, of today's media and our political ruling class. But anyway, guys, that's just my take. Let me know your take in the comments. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.